Welcome to Behind the Algorithm. Each episode, I sit down with marketers from different industries to uncover what actually happens behind campaigns, content, and the data. Whether you're trying to break into the industry, learn something new, or understand the ever-changing landscape, Behind the Algorithm is here to inspire and start new conversations. Right, welcome back to Behind the Algorithm, and today we have
Amy.
Right, Amy, can you tell us a bit about your role and what you do?
Yes, so I'm the brand lead at Arma Karma and Save the Date. We do insurance. So for Arma Karma, we do personal possessions insurance, and for Save the Date, we do wedding insurance. And I focus a lot on marketing, design, social media. So that's a lot of content creation, design, website design. Basically, a lot of things.
That was a lot of bases.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about Save the Date and the story behind it?
Yes, I'd love to. So, Save the Date has been in the works, I would say, like, back in December, like 2024. We got the opportunity, and my boss, Ben, our MD, came to me with the opportunity, like, we have the chance to do wedding insurance. I was like, I didn't even know wedding insurance even existed. No. So we had like a really awesome opportunity where we could bring sort of what we've learned from Arma Karma into the wedding insurance space. And the great thing about Save the Date is like something that is basically just like a brand new chapter for us. It's something that I've been able to kind of build from the ground up, which is quite rare nowadays. It's not something like an opportunity kind of lands in your lap unless you kind of do it yourself. Yeah. And I've really fallen in love with insurance. So working on Save the Date's been honestly like an absolute dream, because I think with insurance, it's a very sort of dated, very traditional sort of like industry. It's not typically like an industry you would think where you'd be able to kind of explore really fun marketing and brand opportunities. But with Save the Date, the meaning behind the name is like you're saving the date of your wedding by getting Save the Date insurance. And the great thing about it is that it's such a brilliant SEO search term as well.
Yeah, because it's fantastic.
Yeah, cause we think we have the opportunity to like show up in like 10,000 extra searches a month just by having the name Save the Date. But also when I say the name Save the Date, am I talking about wedding insurance or am I talking about stationery as well? Yeah. So it's like, it's been really, really fun to kind of unlock this new chapter.
Yeah, I mean, the name of it is just brilliant. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
And it does get you thinking, because you're like, what does Save the Date actually mean? And then it makes you want to look into it.
Exactly. So I think I really wanted to make sure that when we did this new brand, like I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to feel different, because we've learned so much, and I think the development of brand and marketing has evolved so much. Yeah. Especially in like the last 5 years, definitely. So I definitely wanted to bring that new sort of trend and modern feel of like marketing and brand over into the insurance space. And I think we've already done that with Arma Karma, but I really wanted to go all in for it. For the wedding insurance industry, for sure.
Wow. We'll get more into that Save the Date, because I'm really interested in it. So what is the insurance and finance market like for marketing?
Tough. I mean, when I first started in like the insurance space, it felt it was a bit overwhelming to begin with. I was already I kind of dipped my toe into like the financial space before. I actually worked in a crypto marketing agency. Oh. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But it didn't really last that long, and then I moved over to Arma Karma. But yeah, it's tough sometimes, because naturally, as a consumer, as a customer, you're not going to naturally want to follow an insurance company on social media. Yeah. So it was like a bit of a learning process, learning how to kind of make insurance fun and interesting enough for people to follow. And I remember I've been to like a few like social media like networking things in like in London, and anytime someone would ask, what industry are you in? And every time I say insurance, they'd be like, ooh. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. Someone's like, okay, interesting.
You're like, oh, that's probably really hard. And I'm like, it can be. Yeah. But I think even though it has been tough at times, I'm in a team where like we want to change that sort of approach. Like the way we're doing marketing and the way we're doing social media, like we're not sticking to the normal traditional market of like where it's very faceless, and because that's also a struggle as well. Like insurance is such a faceless industry, so it's like, okay, well, how can we challenge that to build trust, build community and, you know, take it further. But I think now that I've kind of learned exactly what we want to do and having a really great response from it, I'm like, yeah, it's great. Yeah. So I'm absolutely loving it.
Oh, I feel very similar when you said about the trust thing, especially because I'm in recruitment.
Yeah.
So it's so difficult people don't want to post their face on social media as much when you're in such a corporate industry. Moreover, something, you know, like fashion or something like that, you know, marketing for that is, I wouldn't say easy, because obviously marketing isn't easy, but to get someone's face out there, because you build trust by seeing other people.
Literally. And I think as well, like, especially from being a startup as well, there's a lot of trust that you have to gain from people who you want them to buy your insurance. Like we target like 18 to like 35-year-olds, like students, young renters, like for Arma Karma. So, and obviously like for younger people who don't really know anything about insurance, it's like, well, we have to kind of approach that challenge as well. Yeah. But I think even doing things like TikToks have like really kind of helped build us like brand awareness. And yes, even though they're silly, but we're still getting a really great response from it. Like, because naturally when you ever searching like for a brand, or you see a brand pop up, you're like, do I trust them? Naturally, you're always going to look on their social media as well. So it's like, okay, well, they're legit. I can see people actually working here. Yeah, I trust them a little bit more, which is like weird how that's a kind of step in terms of like of a customer journey essentially. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's crazy.
Amazing. So how did graphic design lead to you doing what you love now?
Yeah, I mean, graphic design is like my passion still. Like, it's something that is a really key part of my like daily sort of responsibilities. I was a bit weird knowing, because when I was in school, I took it in as a school subject. So I knew really kind of early on at like 15 that, yeah, I want to do graphic design. Yeah. So I then took it on as a college course at college in Colchester. And yeah, the rest is history. But I think there's like a bit of a joke with people in marketing, like, oh, you work in marketing, you're really creative, so so you're a photographer. Oh, you're a graphic designer. Oh, you can film this is fine. Oh, you can do everything. You can basically do everything. And that's essentially kind of what my job has turned into. Like, I've kind of just dipped into everything, which for me isn't a bad thing. I think my specialism in graphic design is branding. And I think what's so lovely about what my job is now is I'm actually kind of telling a story from the brand. So I always joke, like, say the date's my baby because obviously I created it. Yeah. And I think what's lovely is that I'm able to kind of like tell more of what that brand is through like content creation, graphics, marketing, like Google display ads. Like, it's so much fun to be able to kind of like be at the very beginning and see it evolve over time. Yeah. So yeah, graphic design's like, honestly, if I didn't do it, I don't know what I'd be doing now. But yeah, I still try and do like as much graphic design as I can, because yeah, I mean, I always get my fix of like just having like content days of like, right, I'm going to do all these graphics today, or like doing a display ad, that's fine. Yeah.
I guess that's the good thing about like your role. Obviously, you can dip your foot into dip your toe? Dip your toe?
Dip your toe.
Dip your toe.
Dip your toe.
Dip your toes. Into many different waters. Maybe hands as well. Yeah, dip everything into so many different aspects.
Yeah, totally.
Because especially to save the date as well, you know, you've built it from the start, so you've got so much to be able to do with it as well.
Totally. And I think it's hard not, obviously, like, I'm very much the type of person who's like, I can think of all the most amazing things we can do, and it's like, let's try and tackle one thing at a time. And I think because it's literally at the launch, we're still setting up the foundations of everything. Yeah. But we're seeing such a great response from doing all of this. Like response from like just even like from people seeing the brand itself, saying like, this is so cool. And I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted.
That's the response.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, when I was designing this, like especially the branding and everything, because it takes time, I was like, I just remember thinking, I really hope people love it the way that I'm loving it as well. Maybe not as much as me, because obviously it is
no one's gonna like it as much.
Not to be biased or anything, but yeah, no, it's honestly so cool.
Yeah. So being in the industry for a while now, what do you think has changed the most, especially when you're trying to market something online?
Ooh. When you say industry, do you mean like marketing, or do you talk about insurance?
I mean either. Or we'll go for both. Go for insurance. What do you think's changed the most?
I think the thing is with insurance is that again, they're very rigid in their own ways. Like, they're very like, you know, this is kind of how we do marketing, but there is like a hunger to like explore different things, and I'm seeing it like just from my perspective. But there are like still other really great startups out there who are like really kind of challenging the way that they market insurance to younger people as well. It's like, I think they're dipping into like the less serious side.
Yeah.
Because I think as like marketing's evolved over time, I think people have become like, marketers become a lot more unhinged and a lot more like,
oh my gosh, massively.
Yeah, but like they're not being too serious about it. And I mean, insurance, you kind of have to be serious in some ways. Like, obviously, like, this is like, you know, a real product that people need to sell, because it can have, you need it for like serious things. So if anything goes wrong. But I think, but I think for marketing and the insurance industry together, like, I think they're naturally becoming a bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm sensing it, because it's like, I remember the biggest turn, I think it's a bit of an obvious example, but like Duolingo, for example, they were so unhinged, and I think people were like, well, if they can be, we'll jump on it too.
I feel like it started the bandwagon with it.
Yeah.
It started almost like, it was just everywhere. It was like the comments they were making on TikToks. It's like, how are you doing this as business? But it works.
But if anything, it's proven that people are more lenient towards like less serious sort of marketing. So it's a challenge at the same time, because it's like, well, we need to be like informative and, you know, serious in some parts, but also kind of having a balance where like, like, we're cool.
Yeah.
Which sounds really cringe, but that's like, no, we're cool too. But yeah, I think that's the biggest change I've noticed. But I think even like witnessing like new sort of brands of marketing, kind of like, some people are taking it a bit too far, but also people will like maybe like try. It's a really weird sort of time to kind of like try and figure out exactly what your tone of voice is, because you don't want to be jumping on the bandwagon if it doesn't fit what your message sounds like. I mean, so that, I would say that's probably the biggest change I've noticed.
Yeah, I've noticed that when you said about some people, like, especially with the Kit Kat thing that happened recently, with all the Kit Kats being stolen, obviously everyone was like, oh my gosh, let's jump on this trend, because they think, but it was almost, you know,
it got bored.
Brand, it was a bit too much. I think some brands, can work with that because it kind of leads into their industry, but then some were just taking it too far, and it's like,
it's like, you know, if like, obviously the Kit Kat thing, people were jumping onto the trend and it like, it was really like funny, but like, if we were to do it would be a bit random.
Yeah, because it's like, how do I
link this to insurance? I mean, I could, but like, it wouldn't really like fit the vibe, I don't think. So it's like, again, it's like learning to know, okay, would this work?
Yeah.
And it's like confidently being like, okay, we're not going to do this. Especially like, because obviously we're still testing and trialing so many different things in marketing. It's like, well, you just got to learn to think, right, that's going to work. That's probably not going to work for us.
Yeah.
Even though it's so
easy, isn't it?
It is, because it's so easy to be like, oh, we'll do that because it's funny.
Yeah.
But it just may be like a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess because sometimes you just never know. Like, we've posted things on our company page that we just thought, oh, it might not, you know, hit the right people, but we're going to post it just to test it, to see. And then sometimes it does, and then you can look at the metrics and think, oh, actually, it does hit the right people. But then, you know, sometimes it doesn't. And I guess sometimes you don't know as well. It's trial and error with a lot of things, isn't it?
It is. You have to be like confident and a bit like, it's like, you're going to have to be okay with it not being a success. But but I think there's a good, like, if it doesn't work, it's okay because no one sees it.
Yeah.
In some ways, or like if everyone sees it, it's like they're not even going to think about it that much.
No.
So it's just you've got to be comfortable with testing and trialing.
Yeah. What is your favourite? Yeah, that is that one. What is your favourite part about marketing Save the Date?
Oh, just how like fun and cheesy it is. I think as well, like when we were putting together the customer journey, so big part of my role has been actually developing the customer journey, so like the checkout and everything. And I remember working with our product manager and like even trying to think, okay, like what are we going to call like couple number one, the couple number two? And we were like, and I was like, I want something really cheesy because who's going to say, oh no, we can't have that?
Yeah.
No. So we have like Lovebird 1 and Lovebird 2.
Oh, I love that.
But I think as well, like I feel like when people obviously getting married, it's such a nice celebration, and I think trying to express that through marketing is actually like really fun. I mean, like I said to you earlier, like we were literally just out in London handing out some save the dates, and like, you know, being able to kind of be a part of someone's wedding journey is actually like really, really exciting. And I think as well, like just being able to kind of, again, like story tell the brand in a way where like it's fun, it's exciting, and it's really different as well. And I feel like you don't get that opportunity a lot to kind of produce something really, really different in an industry. So it's really nice to kind of obviously, challenge it, have fun with it. I think as well, like there's so many other opportunities we want to explore in the next year, and I think it's going to be so exciting to be able to actually people engage with Save the Date as well, especially like, because again, not everyone wants to follow an insurance company, but like we're seeing a really great response in terms of the way we're like putting together content creation and how people are interacting with brand, or even getting the policy. Like it's been such a really like fun process to do.
Wow. I actually love it. I want to get married just to have this now.
Same.
What's the importance of branding and why is it so powerful?
You could have like a really great marketing plan, right? You could have everything set in stone, but if your brand isn't represented the right way, marketing could just like go down the drain.
Yeah.
Because I think marketing, I think people are discovering is actually such a real key thing to have.
Massively.
Like I think the whole rise of social media, especially since TikTok have come around, it's like, oh my god, it's so needed because everyone's on it. But if you don't have a brand that resonates with people, then how are you going to be able to succeed like to sell whatever you need to sell?
Yeah.
I think, you know, a great brand can enable so much trust. And I think I've seen people could have come up with like some fantastic ideas, but not executed in like a really good sort of branding deck. And it's like really disheartening because, you know, nothing against it, but like if you're like not a designer and you put together like a whole new branding logo, it's like, well, if it's not going to come across in the most professional way, like if someone's just kind of done like something on Word, you're not really going to trust it the same way where like it feels more represented, like cohesive throughout the website. And it's like, like tone of voice, it's like, it's all about consistency and it can create so much trust. And without it, you're almost kind of like damaging like what you're trying to do. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing, because it's like, I mean, I'm biased because obviously branding is my whole thing, but I've seen countless times of people who have started a new business but haven't executed a good brand, or have started a new business but they have really cohesive, really like consistent branding across all their socials. Even that on social media as well, like even that's like a bit of like my marketing it. If they don't have like consistent graphics across like their social media, it's like, well, you're almost doing yourself a bit of a disservice. Like you need to like, you know, if you want it to succeed, you've got to be consistent with it, because people aren't going to buy somewhere where you are consistent, because that could also reflect, well, are you consistent with your services? Are you consistent with your products? Like, again, it's really important that you hit brand first before you start working on your marketing.
Yeah, I think it reflects so much on the company as well.
Yeah, because it's like, well, if you can't put your time into looking good, how can I trust that you're going to provide like a good service, product, or whatever? Yeah. So, it is really important.
It's like one of the first things people will see about your brand. If they've never seen you before, you're on social media, you know, that's what they're going to see first.
Even down to the name. Like, you want to make sure that your name and brand as well stands out from the rest of the market, because as well, like, one thing in brand is like, especially when you're putting together like a whole branding deck, it's like, well, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. How can I stand out from the rest? Even down to the name, because it's like, well, I could easily have insurance or insure like in the slap bang in the middle of the name, but it's like, well, if everyone's doing that, well, I don't want to do that. I want to stand out from the rest. So it's like, it is really important, like being memorable as well. And it's like, you know, when you think of Duolingo, what's like the first... I'm referencing Duolingo all the time, but like, what's the first colour that comes to mind?
Green.
Exactly.
How do you create we've kind of touched on it anyway, but how do you create and market Save the Date?
It's when I had the opportunity to kind of start it, I was like, okay, this feels more real now, because I've always like, when I've created brands before, it's always been for like passion projects to put in my portfolio, or even something like for a college course. So this was really exciting, but I'm like, oh, the pressure is on. And I'm like, I have to make sure I get this right.
Yeah.
So, but I had a lot of creative freedom as well, which I'm very, very grateful for, because they kind of trusted my ideas, which is a big compliment as well. So I really wanted to make sure, again, that I wanted to stand out. I wanted it to be cute, essentially, and I wanted it to be fun, because my sort of the way of thinking is that insurance doesn't actually have to be boring.
Yeah.
So if I can have fun with this, then mission accomplished in a way.
Yeah.
So usually when my method in terms of actually thinking of names is, right, well, we've got wedding as an industry, and then we've got insurance. So I mind map loads of different words, and I try and pick out a few. And I think I was focusing it so much, like trying to figure out what words go with each other. Like, I need a brain break. So I go on Pinterest. But my Pinterest feed was full of wedding stationery designs, because I literally did wedding stationery like a couple months before.
Yeah.
So I was just scrolling through. And even though I couldn't think of a name yet, I knew how I wanted the brand to feel. But because obviously I didn't want the brand to be like representing like formal or elegant sort of weddings, because weddings in themselves have like evolved over time. It's not about it's always about elegance, and it's not always about really formal, because even though people still have those weddings, which are lovely, people want their weddings to reflect them. They want to reflect the couple. They want to have fun things and not be so serious. So I wanted the brand to kind of reflect that new era, and also kind of like, because I wanted it to feel for the younger demographic.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, again, it's like educating the younger generation. So when I was scrolling through Pinterest, there was a Save the Date on there, and I thought, oh, I quite like that. And I was like, oh, I really like the orange. And then I was like thinking, I had the word save under the insurance section, because I usually use that terminology for like, oh, like save like your peace of mind or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, save the date. And then I was just like kind of thinking that, I was like, save the date, because you're technically saving the date of your wedding. I was like, oh my God, bingo. Yeah. I messaged my boss, I was like, I've thought of this name, and he was like, oh yeah, no, that's sick.
It's like perfect. It just fits the brand like so well.
Exactly. And I just feel really, really proud of it. And I think when thinking about marketing it, I even had like a vision exactly like for brand imagery as well. So I wanted it to kind of reflect, obviously, like the colours, and I wanted it to feel bright. I wanted it to feel new. Like even down to the colours, like I wanted it to kind of reflect. So we have like six or seven colours like in our colour palette. I've all named them. So we've got red velvet cake, something blue, the bride, confetti, honeymoon, and is that it? Confetti, something blue, the bride. I'm like name them all now. And golden hour, that was it.
Oh, I love them.
But what's so great is that I can combine them or cohesive. So like for autumn, I'll use the reds, the pinks, and the yellows, but for winter, I'll use the red and the blues. For spring, I'll use the pink, the whites, and the blues. So like I can like coordinate the colours and change them through each season. So, and I think for marketing it, I think it's just as well like actually creating wedding content for everyday people, like for them, because weddings are expensive. Yeah. The average cost of a wedding is between like 20 to 25k.
That's insane.
It is
when you think about it, isn't it?
It is such a massive chunk of money. So, and when I was kind of like doing a bit of research, because I was like, I knew, because content was like a really big part of my everyday sort of responsibility. So I was like, well, I need to make sure that when we're producing our content, it can fit for anyone. Yeah. So nothing against it, but a lot of the wedding content out there is very much for elegant, very expensive taste, which, you know, as a girl who has expensive taste, love it.
All for it.
But for people who are like, you know, having a bit more budget-friendly weddings, I was like, well, I don't want that. I want to make sure that our content is perfect for anyone who's who's getting married, because it's such an expensive thing. And it's like, well, I want to make sure that anyone can feel like they're sort of representing the kind of wedding they want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been really nice as well. Like I've got like a few weddings going on in my life currently. I think my mum's getting married, my cousin's getting married next year. So I'm like, well, I'm like in like wedding heaven. I'm like, I'm gonna have so much content.
You're in your massive wedding era.
I know. Even like I'm like got a hen do, so it's like I'm in like such a wedding phase, and I'm not even getting married. So yeah, no, it's honestly been really fun. It's so fulfilling as well, because again, like it's about trying to do something different, especially insurance, because I think especially when I'm on LinkedIn and you know, and you see all like the fashion brands, the skincare brands, and they're doing such cool campaigns. It's like, oh, well, I want to do that. And it's like, well, actually, I could.
Yeah.
I can. And the good thing is I've got a team with me who actually want to do it as well.
Yeah, that always helps.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'd be a bit hard if they weren't really going to do it. So, but yeah, it honestly is it really does make a difference. So, but yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. So the launch has happened?
Yeah, we're live now. We went live sort of like end of Feb, beginning of March. So we're in April now, so like in our second month live. Wow. I've just been like so excited with like the response of it. I think it's nice to be able to kind of bring something new to insurance. And like I really fall in love with the insurance industry. I think there's so much potential. And like I said before, I think there's such a hunger to like you know, for people to like do more in that. So I think one thing I'd love to see in the future is like people actually like looking into insurance industry as like an option to find a marketing career or any creative career actually, because it's just so good.
Wow. I guess because like you don't really see many when you're looking for jobs. Like if I'm on LinkedIn and jobs pop up for different marketing things, it's, you know, it's fashion, it's sort of beauty, and you don't see anything more corporate come up as much.
No, I think because nothing against corporate. I think most corporate businesses obviously are focused on the services. I think, you know, but I'm seeing a hunger for that. I hope in the next 3 to 5 years, like we'll see a change in that, because I think there's so much opportunity that the industry that I'm in can offer. And I think, because who doesn't want to do fan marketing? It's so much fun.
And I think especially those industries, they've got such a big potential now to change how they're doing their marketing.
Massively.
So they've got, you know, so much more room for adapting to, you know, the current marketing trends, or, you know, just like strategies that are going on.
Exactly.
And obviously a lot of fashion and beauty brands, you know, they've been doing that for a while now, because that's just how their market reacts to it.
Exactly.
And so it's good that change can then also happen in more corporate industries as well.
Exactly. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I think it would be great to kind of have that community expand. I think, you know, especially in a lot of like marketing communities, you do see like a lot of them are either freelancing or like working for these like really big brands. I think it would be great to see that community expand in like the financial and like the insurance industry. I think I think there's a hunger for it. I think if they class it as like a bigger opportunity, I think they should see a difference. But no, it's exciting.
So what's your favourite platform on social media?
It's tough because I change like every week. I mean, I think we're all...
What's your like current one?
I mean, at one point it was LinkedIn. Which sounds a bit sad.
I love LinkedIn.
Yeah, I found that there's so many nice people on LinkedIn, and obviously like that's how we connected. But I guess I do love Instagram. I mean, I can't say TikTok because it is like it's a love-hate relationship. You do scroll too much. I feel like Instagram. I think, like on the personal note, probably Instagram. But I think on the like our brand note, I think Instagram is you have a bit more time to play with different content styles. I think, and as well, like we've been testing like a few different things on like for Save the Date in particular. And I've been really liking the response from it as well. I don't know. I mean, Instagram's the OG at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I remember, I mean, I used to be a Vine girl before. I loved Vine so much.
Oh my God, I never had it.
Do you know what? I think they've been speaking about bringing Vine back, and I'm like, no.
Leave it in the past, 'cause it was good.
Leave it how it was. Don't. But yeah, no, I think I'm torn. I think it's either Instagram or it's like LinkedIn. But I think working on personal brands been really fun, and being able to connect with like so many different people, and especially like starting out like young and like or like early in your career, it's like it is a bit daunting, but like actually everyone's actually feeling the same as well.
People just don't talk about it as much.
No, and I think there's like a bit of like, you know, you're not embarrassed, but you're a bit like shy.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I think, you know, post on LinkedIn I think is so important, because people are scared in the beginning of their career to talk about it. And I think people shouldn't be scared, because so many other people are in the exact same boat. People just need to just talk, get out there more.
Yeah, like, I mean, I didn't go to uni, so I was like quite young when I first started, and it's like, it can be a bit lonely at times, but I think once you get past the embarrassing stage of posting on LinkedIn, because you do feel like the inner cringe, you're like, oh no, I can't watch this.
I still do it now. Like every day I post, I'm like, I don't want anyone to see what I'm posting, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I have to like breathe like, okay. But if anything, it's like once you kind of overcome sort of that cringe mountain, it's fine. I mean, I'm trying to encourage like people in my team to do it. I'm like, it's so good, you have to do it. And they're like, oh, I don't know. But no, it's like it's a journey. Yeah. It's a journey.
Massively. What do you wish someone would have told you before you started your journey?
Oh, I think don't be too harsh on yourself. So I am a massive perfectionist, and I think I do become like my own worst enemy sometimes. Like I will, like, even if I'm putting together like a social media graphic, I'll be like staring at it, I think I can't, I'm like, it's awful. And then I will like message Grace, our digital marketing exec, and I'll be like, this is awful. And she was like, Amy, it's great, stop looking at it, go have some lunch. And like but I think in graphic design, especially when you're doing branding and you're like putting together logos and color palette, you design it for it to be perfect. And obviously from starting out in graphic design, you can't necessarily take that perfectionist mindset along with you in marketing, because a lot of it is testing and trialing. And it's like, you can't beat yourself up that, you know, if you're working so hard on something and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean it's not good. It just means that it just didn't fit this sort of like target. So like I remember when I was like doing TikToks with my team, and like we do like this really, really good TikTok, everyone did really, really well in it, and it flopped. Or like it didn't flop, it just didn't get the best attraction that I would have wanted it to. And I would beat myself up about it. Or even like just looking at social media graphics, I'm like, but that's the point. You have to test and trial things. So like I'm trying to overcome it this year, but I feel like it's working. But again, like especially when you're creating a brand new brand, like and you're in the early stages, you can't think, right, this is going to be perfect, this is going to hit exactly. Like you have to kind of like, you know, accept the fact that things may not go exactly to plan that you had thought. So yeah, I would say like if I had to tell my younger self, I'm like, please just don't be too harsh on yourself. Learn to not be okay with being learning to be okay with not being perfect. I think that's right. I think that's probably the main thing.
I like that one. That's good. Have you ever had a moment where you've seriously doubted yourself and wanted to switch industries?
What, insurance or marketing?
Insurance.
Oh, okay. When I started in insurance, I think I was like a bit like, I think I had like a moment of like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm like smart enough for this, which sounds like really harsh on myself. But I think when people think of insurance, I'm like, oh, they think it's like a really like, you need to be clever, you need to be like go through degrees and stuff to kind of understand exactly what goes in on an insurance, especially like we were such a small team at the time. So I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I'm smart enough to kind of do this. But the thing is, I've got such a supportive team, and we're all rooting for each other. And I think because we create such a great environment, and, you know, especially like in insurance, I like a team in insurance, like it just made it feel a bit more like, oh, okay, I actually can do this.
Yeah.
So I took my FIT exam, like the foundation insurance test.
Okay.
So nervous, but I passed it. I did it with another team member, like Gray. We did it together, and honestly, thank God they helped because we both passed it together. But I think obviously doing the test and actually connecting with people, and actually like everyone's really supportive. Everyone's like, it's a very, very social industry as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's a lot of imposter syndrome though. It's like it's like you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm cut out for this, or I don't know if I'm smart enough for this. And it's like when you overcome that and actually kind of think, actually no, this industry is really cool. There's so much opportunity here, and like it's actually not that hard to understand what's going on, or like understanding like the process of insurance. It's actually fine.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I never expected to work in insurance or any sort of like the finance. There's a common thing where like people ask, so how did you get into insurance? Oh, I just fell into insurance and I just stuck with it. But people stick with it enough to like, because they love it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's just, I've never thought I would, but I just love it.
Wow. I've always thought about, because I know a couple of people in insurance, and I was always told, like, my dad was like, oh, don't go into insurance, like, it's boring, but it's actually not, it's not boring. Yeah, don't say that person, it's not.
I think you got to try and find, it's also about trying to find the right sort of brand, the right company who want to see it do well as well. I think that's key. Or, I mean, or about necessarily not knowing how to get there, but wanting to find the right people to help them kind of show their brand in a more fun, 100%. Interesting light. But yeah, I think obviously we were a startup, so we were really in that new phase, and it's like we wanted to do insurance differently, and like we're accomplishing that, but we're still on our journey, and it's just a really sort of like, it's a cool opportunity. I think that's why I'm like, no, insurance is actually great. I think everyone needs to give it a go.
Everyone needs to get away from the bad bit of thinking, oh, I don't want to go into insurance. Like, people need to think about it positively.
Yeah, but I think that's hard. I think that's also like an industry problem as well. I think there's like you need to sort of like encourage sort of like new opportunities, and obviously because it's such a traditional industry in a way, I think it's like, oh, how do we like encourage more younger people? But I think that will probably be my mission over the next couple of years, because I think having younger talent in all industries, I think, is so vital nowadays, because, you know, we all grew up with tech, we all grew up with iPads, we all knew social media, we know what can work, and I think giving young people that opportunity, I think could do so well.
Yeah, massively, because I feel like so many of those industries are so set in their ways that they don't want to change it, because, you know, it's familiar to them, but you've got to adapt with the world changing.
Yeah, because like, there's a counter argument to it, because they're like, well, this has worked, it's working now, and I'm like, do you know what, that's fine, but I think in 20-30 years time, Gen Z will be running the insurance industry, and it's about being able to kind of encourage that demographic to join this industry now, to prep them for that leadership time. So I think there's a lot to do, but I'm excited to be on that journey.
Yeah, very nice. What's one thing about your job that nobody talks about?
Farron Clark, because she did a video recently about saying like how difficult marketing actually is, because it's like, I don't think people realise the time, the effort and the creative energy that goes into actually producing content, thinking of content, like editing content, or like even going through digital marketing, like Google, Reddit, Pinterest. Like, there is so much time that goes into each section of marketing. And I think naturally, a lot of people marketing go like, oh, like I'm just gonna do a TikTok, or like, I think as well, like I see a lot of girls when they're doing TikTok brand videos, they're like, oh, like just being me, being the social media girl, like just doing silly things. And I think naturally, like, yeah, like I think it's important not to take ourselves too seriously, but let's just not dumb ourselves down. I've done that myself, I will admit, but there are times where like, yeah, I've worked my butt off today, and it's really, really hard. It's not just doing some TikToks and pressing, like, you know, posting and then like, oh, that's it for the day. No, there's a hell of a lot to do, and I think we all need to give ourselves credit where credit's due.
Massively.
And I think it's again, it's like we're so humble, but like actually no, we're actually like really good at our jobs, and like it's really hard. So yeah, I think that's probably the most. I think we need to be a bit more like, shout out more about how good we all are at our jobs, and actually it is quite hard.
It's not an easy industry. You can't just walk into it and think, right, I'm just going to create a post, I'm going to just post that, I'm just going to, you know, just do this TikTok trend. There's so much behind it that you need to realise before you post it. You can't just post one video and think, that's okay, there's my brand done. No,
I think as well, like, this industry is so competitive as well. I think like trying to find any job in marketing where you meet, like, I think I even said earlier, oh, if you're in marketing, you can be a content creator, you can also be a videographer, a photographer, you can be a graphic designer, and it's like, and it's so competitive, and it's like trying to tick every single box is like a bit impossible. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've tried to like dip my toe in literally everything. I couldn't say I'm like, I'm a videographer, because it's like, it's so, like the thought of like trying to handle that on top of everything I do now would be like,
it's too much.
It's too much, but but we just need to give ourselves more credit where credit is due.
Massively. I preach that one. Massively. And lastly, what's one piece of advice anyone should know before getting into the industry? So you can do getting into insurance and marketing, do them like separately if you want to.
I think if anyone, I think if we're just talking about marketing, I honestly do think that if you really want to find any job in marketing, if you want to like make yourself stand out from the rest, personal brand is everything. You want to make sure that when you pop up on people's like your CV pops up on people's like applications, or in any sort of AI scanner that people use nowadays, you want to make sure that it's good. People need to invest in doing marketing portfolios, which I feel like have become like a thing like in the last couple of years, because obviously for graphic designers, portfolios have always been a standard. But now I'm really excited that people are doing marketing portfolios, because it can say a lot. And I think people who are like literally just starting out in this industry, whether you're, you know, coming from college or like university, do passion projects. This is what I did, because massively, I feel like I have like a few friends who are wanting to get into the industry, and they're worried like, oh, but I've never worked in marketing. And I said, you don't actually necessarily need to. If it was me, like say like, okay, I want to work in skincare, I would put together like 2-3 maybe skincare brands, so like Rafai or Rode, or even I would create my own, and I would put together a marketing plan of what I would do, either through like a digital marketing perspective or a creative marketing perspective. You don't necessarily need to work there to show that you have knowledge. You can make it, you can like pretend you're already working there and show them you have the potential to do it. But I think again, like I said, this industry is so tough, but I think it's so great when you get into it, and I think
it's breaking into the industry, which is the difficult part.
And I think, and personal brand as well, like, again, you overcome the cringe mountain on LinkedIn and you will do really, really well on it. I think I wanted to push my career, or like my personal brand further, because I want to be known more in this industry, because I think, you know, I want to connect with people who like have similar responsibilities to me, have a similar role to me, because again, like I said, it does get lonely sometimes. And I think, you know, work on your LinkedIn, especially people like in college or university. I'm like, if you really want to have the best start, work on it.
Yeah,
just like, you know, portfolio, do some posts. Doesn't actually have to, not every post needs to be an example of what you're doing, or just show your potential, show your ideas, show your creativity. And yeah, I think, because I mean, I've done interviews in the past and I'm like, I will always check out the LinkedIn. I will always check out LinkedIn, because it's like, it's how people will, because sometimes your skill sets on CVs may not fully come across in the best way. It's not,
you want to actually see it.
Yeah, well, again, it's like I said earlier, it's like when you want to buy from a brand, you check out their socials.
Yeah.
It's like a better grasp of an idea of like, okay, I want to see what this person's like, and you almost see them in action more.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, really work on your personal brand the best. I think you will see a much more of a benefit, rather than just kind of, you know, just sticking to a CV, or worrying more about actually, you know, because like I said, marketing is hard to get into, but I think if you set the right foundations up, you should nail it.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
Thank you. Thank you for listening and watching Behind the Algorithm. If you would like to keep updated, you can follow us over on Instagram, TikTok and LinkedIn at Behind the Algorithm. Also, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube and also on Spotify to be notified when a new episode drops.